Hi there, everybody, and welcome to Roll with Advantage. Today we have another episode of speed creations in my map making software of choice, which today happens to be Inkarnate. The addition of voiceover is something that's a little new to the series. It's something that people have been requested, and I am nothing more than a man of the people, so that's what I wish to give. So the point of this is I'm going to give a little personal feedback on why I decided to do things and why I decided to create things, how I got there, all that good stuff to hopefully help you in your map making options. So this is actually one thing that I do in Inkarnate that I find helps a lot, is I take any of the cliff tools or any of the cliff assets and I line those up, and then I create my water edge from there. I feel like it helps create much more realistic, much better looking edges for water or for anything like that. So then on top of that, one of the things that I wanted to achieve with this map is I wanted to create a very claustrophobic, very tight, narrow line where the party could fight on. So that southern portion down there all the way at the bottom, that is the only strip of land where they could fight on. Meanwhile, they had flying enemies above them and these big two brutes that came in from either side to apply pressure from each side, and having the artillery coming down on them. It was a really fun combat encounter to run, and making the map was a lot of fun too, because I never made a map of this specific flavor before. By the way, if you'd like to see the map be used, it's actually in one of the more recent episodes of the Salamander Coast, which you can check out right up there in the corner right now. Oh, that's right. When I went to go make the map, I was running into a lot of issues because I was trying out different things. There were some vibes that I wanted to go for. I wanted like this really mossy, kind of gross, squelching, squishy ground, and I just couldn't get a good vibe out of any of the textures. So I was like messing with the hues, trying to get something a little darker. I think that's what I ended up going with, that like rocky, very, very deep green, mossy rock. One of the things I also did is I played with shadows a lot. So I turned the opacity down on shadows, so that way whenever I would go and create shadows, they weren't like complete like black circles. They just kind of were creating this sort of like shadowy hue over whatever I was trying to make or create. Yep, and then we have I also messed with the hue of the trees to sort of desaturate them a little bit. Yeah, one of the things that I had said when I was describing it to the players is that there seemed to be these like, there was the pool of water in front of them, but the ground underneath them was so wet, almost like marshland or like a swamp. It was still ground that was solid enough to walk on. So subtly what I tried to do on some of these areas is I tried to put like little streaks of blue to show that there was maybe a little bit more water there. Oh yeah, I took a little skull thing, turned the opacity down, made it blue, put it on the background there underneath the water. Yep, and then I just wanted to add a lot of life, a lot of saturation, a lot of just sort of overgrowing. Because one of the things that's happening in the current arc of Salamander Coast is they're starting to get more entangled with an enemy that is very similar to the Simic from Magic the Gathering, if you happen to have ever played that. Simic were blue-green. Not necessarily one of my favorites at the time, but they have these really, really interesting and really, really cool things that they can do. And I decided to take it one step further with this like experimentation and grafting. So one of the things the party discovers in the session is that these people who ever exist underneath this lake, they have been taking people, abducting people, and they have been turning them into these weird amalgamations of like subterranean or aquatic creatures. The brutes that they fight are covered in like tentacles and like crab claws. It's a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun to come up with in concept and to take influence from Simic. I do want to draw your attention to something I'm doing here. I make mistakes, you know. I am as a designer, and I think as like an artist in general, one thing you want to try is just try things. If you make mistakes, then that's totally fine. So one thing I did here is I flattened all of the rocks to the back or to the foreground, and then I took the moss tool and I went over the rocks, so that way there was this really cool mossy effect on top of them that sort of bled into the ground. Now, it is erasing the rocks technically, but if I do it sparingly enough, when the players are zoomed in, it looks like there's so much detail. Like I traced out every little bit and piece of moss on top of it. And then just for a little bit of extra, I decided to take some shrubberies, sort of place them around, mush them around, and get some nice texture going on. So let's see here. What did I do next? Oh, that's right. I was trying to upload the asset that I have that is the symbol that's at the bottom of the lake, but I could not find it. I spent quite a while looking for it. Because one thing I recommend is like uploading your own assets to Inkarnate to use in fun and interesting ways. I create splash screens for my players, and that's where I have the party icons. Oh, this was just for fun. There was no reason for me to do this, but I thought it would be cool if there was like an ethereal quality to the lake, with like the blue misty stuff just kind of floating around. I think this is me. I was just kind of looking to see if there's anything else I wanted to do. One of the things that I think is a great idea is just going on Inkarnate and looking what other people have made that have a similar vibe, and then kind of going from there. Either that or I forgot to stop recording. That could also have happened. I don't know. I feel like there's something else that I wanted to do here. But one of the last things that I will say is that if you do like the map and you'd like to use it in your own campaign or your own one-shot or anything, I'll make sure to include a link in the description to the Inkarnate file directly. So that way, if you want to, you can go ahead and edit it yourself, make whatever changes or addendums you'd like to. Oh, I wanted to add a vortex to it. That was the last touch I wanted to add. And yeah, so there you go. Well, there it is, finished. If you'd like to use it, you can. That's totally fine. Thanks so much for watching, everybody, and I hope you enjoyed, and be sure to subscribe, like, and comment. Thanks. See you later. Bye.